So, when the season finale of a Game of Thrones spinoff drops, you expect certain things, right? Dragons, big battles, probably a shocking death or two. But the finale of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms did something way more radical. It was quiet, it was thoughtful, and it completely tossed all of our expectations out the window. And that's the wild thing about it. In a world that's all about spectacle, this show gave us a finale that was just conversations and character choices. No epic fights, no jaw dropping twists, and yet everyone, critics, fans, they're all calling it pretty much perfect. So, how in the world did they pull this off? I mean, how does a finale that follows the classic Game of Thrones playbook, big battle in episode 5, character stuff in episode 6, succeed by being so deliberately still? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. All right, let's jump right in by tackling the show's biggest single lingering mystery, the one it just dangles right in front of us and then kind of cheekily refuses to solve. I mean, this question has been hanging over Dunk's head all season. And in the finale, we finally get that flashback where he asks a dying Ser Arlan, "Why did you never knight me?" Arlan seems to pass away, but then he wakes up to finish a story. We never get a clear yes or no, we never see a ceremony. Was that last bit real? Or was it just Dunk's hopeful imagination? The show just leaves us hanging. And this is where this show plays a brilliant hand. Because think about it, if Ser Arlan did knight him on his deathbed, then Dunk's legitimacy comes from that ceremony, and all his noble actions just proved he was worthy of the title. But if he was never knighted, his legitimacy comes entirely from what he did, making the title, the ceremony, completely irrelevant. So you see, that ambiguity isn't just some clever writer's trick. It's the entire point of the show right there on screen. The answer doesn't matter, because either way we land at the exact same conclusion. True knighthood is defined by your deeds, not your title. Okay, so if being a knight is about doing rather than being, let's see how that plays out with Dunk himself. The show makes it really clear that his heroism isn't just some quality he has, it's a series of really tough choices he has to keep making over and over. First up, he gets offered the easy life. Lyonel Baratheon, in the most Baratheon way possible, offers Dunk everything he thought he wanted. A secure future, good friends, a place where he belongs. But after everything that happened at Ashford, Dunk knows that easy road just isn't his to take. And then comes temptation number 2. And this one is a big one. Prince Maekar offers him a spot at Summerhall. We're talking upward mobility, proper training, a chance to become a respected knight in the royal household. It's basically the Westerosi version of a major career glow-up. And Dunk's response says it all. He rejects both offers. And why? Because he's learned a hard lesson. The systems run by princes, that iron machinery of court life, they're what twist good people into something awful. To stay true to himself, he has to walk away from it all. So Dunk makes his choice. But that choice has huge ripple effects, especially for Egg. And this is where the show really starts digging into that Targaryen machine and asks whether anyone can actually escape it. We tend to think of Targaryens as just being born a certain way, right? But the show kind of complicates that. When Daeron says this about his monstrous brother Aerion, it's not an excuse, it's an explanation. It suggests these princes aren't just born evil, they're forged into monsters by the world they live in. Which brings us to one of the most powerful scenes the show invented. Egg sees his silver Targaryen hair growing back in the water's reflection, and he starts thinking about his own capacity for violence, and it's symbolized by this dead fish with a knife run through it. He's looking at Aerion, and he's seeing himself. This scene, it's the absolute heart of the finale. Egg is right there on the edge, about to continue that same cycle of Targaryen violence. And when his father, Maekar, finds him, he doesn't shout. He gets it. They both do. And that moment proves that, yeah, Egg has that same Targaryen fire inside him. But, and this is crucial because of Dunk, he also has the chance to choose a different path. And all of this, everything we've talked about, it all comes down to this one final choice, where Dunk and Egg's paths come together and answer all the questions the season's been asking. So Dunk goes back to Maekar, and he makes a counteroffer. He'll take Egg as his squire, but only if they can live on the road, sleeping in ditches, just being out in the world. This isn't just about a job, it's an escape hatch. It's Dunk offering to save Egg from the very life that broke his brothers. Okay, now here, the show makes a really interesting and major change from the book. In the novella, Maekar actually agrees. It's this moment of wisdom and atonement. But in the show, Maekar says no. So Egg just runs away, and he lies to Dunk, telling him he has his father's permission. Now, this change might undercut Makar's character arc a little, but it doubles down hard on the show's main theme. Choosing the right path has a cost. It costs Egg his honesty, it costs Maekar his son, and the show ends on what's basically a punchline. But there's so much weight behind that laugh. So what's the big idea here? What's the show really trying to say? It's simple, but it's huge. It argues that goodness, that heroism, it isn't a state of being. It's an active verb. It's a choice you have to make again and again and again, especially when it's hard. And that's really the question the show leaves us with, isn't it? In a universe that's famous for its cynical, brutal power games, this quiet little story suggests that maybe the most rebellious, the most heroic thing a person can do is to simply choose to be good one difficult step at a time.